So in the very near future, there are two advances that are going to essentially make Amazon warehouse workers and truck drivers almost unneeded and obsolete. The first of those advances is
workers for both Amazon and Starbucks hitting picket lines across the country as we speak. You are seeing it there on the left and the right. So let's talk about those Amazon workers. They are led by Teamsters pressuring the retail giant for a brand new contract. Meanwhile, some Starbucks baristas also staging a pre-holiday walkout. And they say the walkout could spread nationwide.
What's going on, guys? JC Nita here. And the reason that the employees are striking is because, of course, wages. For Starbucks, baristas are demanding higher pay. And for Amazon, warehouse workers are demanding higher pay and safer working conditions.
Seems like another day, another strike. Right now, you've got these Starbucks baristas, workers at Starbucks here in Burbank, California, outside there addressing the news media. But essentially what they want is higher pay, and they are unionized, and the union is recognized by Starbucks. In fact, they've been negotiating for some time now. Now, Starbucks says we already do offer a competitive pay package. They say that generally speaking, they start people at around $18 an hour, and they offer college tuition if you work 20 hours a week. They also offer paid family leave.
Just for some context, the average hourly wage as of December 17, 2024 is $28.16. Also, as of December 2024, the average hourly pay for Amazon warehouse workers in the United States is about $18.04. The average hourly pay for a Starbucks barista in the United States is between $15.23 and $15.55. And some of the highest paying cities for Starbucks baristas is Seattle, Washington at $20.63, Los Angeles, California at $19.04, and New York, New York at $17.86. And the reason that's important, as you'll see, is because obviously these locales have a higher cost of living, a much, much higher cost of living, which is really the impetus behind the reason why these baristas are striking in the first place in these major cities.
Now in California, they get paid a little bit more because here in the LA area, fast food workers get $20 an hour, but this is still a very expensive place to live. And the folks behind me say they cannot afford to live in Southern California on the wages they're making here.
And this is important because where I'm at right now is not a major city, and I haven't noticed anything. I don't go to Starbucks, but I haven't noticed any decline in activity. People are still going to get their morning coffees like usual. And that's because it's not a major city where the cost of living is astronomical. I see why they're striking, but as you'll see later on in the video, it may all be for naught in the near future.
So let's talk about Amazon right now, Carter. It is day 2 of this strike. We saw you out there yesterday live on the picket line. Amazon claims those packages will arrive on time, but where do things stand right now where Amazon's concerned?
Well, you know, I think in select locations, there's a possibility that packages are going to be delayed because they are slowing those delivery trucks coming in and out. But it is a very, very small percentage of locations when you think about the footprint that Amazon has. The big difference here is Amazon does not recognize essentially the unionized workers over there. And what they're saying is these actually aren't our employees. These are employees that work for third parties that we contract to deliver our package. Well, the union says that's not the full story. They say Amazon is a partial employer when you look at it that way, and that's why they want Amazon to come to the table and start negotiating. But they are very, very far apart at this point because Amazon won't even come to the table to hear their concerns.
Now, as they pointed out, timing and location are huge. Timing because it's the holiday season, so the strikers chose a very strategic time to start their strike because they know that this is the time where Amazon is expecting to get deliveries out as fast as possible and we'll see a much higher volume because of the holiday season. So it's bad for Amazon, more strategic for the strikers. That being said, as they mentioned, Amazon has been fervent in saying that they are not going to negotiate and they do not want to deal with unions. So we'll see what happens there. I don't know about you, but I haven't noticed any lag or delay in receiving my goods that I've ordered from Amazon. It's like I order Amazon, it shows up on my door the next day. It's really crazy how Amazon has become so efficient. It's partly because they're building huge warehouses everywhere. There's a huge, maybe 1 or 2 huge warehouses within 30 miles from me. So I order something online, and if I want it tonight, I could probably get it tonight. And at the time of this recording, it's almost 12 a.m. So it's just crazy how efficient they are. Which leads me to my next point about all this. It may not matter in the very near future. Why? Because of technology and automation. So in the very near future, there are two advances that are going to essentially make Amazon warehouse workers and truck drivers almost unneeded and obsolete. The first of those advances is robotic trucks.
This looks like your average 80,000-pound semi, right? But here, take a closer look, because there's a big difference. There's no human driver.
So at Aurora, what we're building is a driver.
Yeah, 651, you're mobilized, clear to exit.
The Aurora driver is this combination of the hardware, the stuff you can see hanging off the side of the truck here. So different sensors like a LiDAR and camera and radar that allow it to see the world. And then some really interesting software that allows it to take that data to figure out how to drive safely through the world.
So as you heard, they're saying they're building a driver. Not they're building a new truck, they're building a driver, which means they're going to replace the human drivers that are currently driving these trucks now. And not to mention, Aurora is not the only company that's doing this. Obviously, you have other companies, I should say other people such as Elon Musk, who are at the forefront of autonomous vehicles. So this is something that's already on the way. This is technology that already exists. Not to mention, this is technology that people use today. I have a friend who owns a Tesla. Actually, I have a few friends who own Teslas. And one of them told me that during his commute, he reads a book. And I'm like, how do you read a book while you're going on your commute? He said that he puts his car into autopilot or auto drive, whatever it is, and he just reads his book. So he gets work done on the way to work. So when I heard that, I'm like, wow, I didn't realize it was already that available. And the only reason that it's not more widely available is because of regulations, which I'm happy they're taking their time on it. Trust me, I don't want these rogue autonomous cars driving everywhere and running into each other. But the technology is actually safer than human drivers.
We want to be out there with thousands or tens of thousands of trucks on the road. And to do that, we have to be safe.
In March, the company hosted an investor day in Pittsburgh where they demonstrated the truck's situational awareness and response on a test track.
It has one job, and it's single-minded about it. It also has some pretty incredible sensing that allows it not just to see down the road, but see beside it. We can see pedestrians on the side of the road at night beyond the distance of the headlights. And so we can be making a lane change away from that person walking down the side of the freeway. So there are ways we're going to be safer for sure.
There are videos online of these autonomous trucks and they narrowly miss major accidents because of the technology that's used within the trucks. So it's only a matter of time where these vehicles replace the need for human work. It's just inevitable. The second major advancement that's really going to directly impact Amazon workers, warehouse workers specifically, are robotic warehouses.
This is the world's most advanced e-commerce warehouse, run entirely by AI robots. This entire operation is managed by 48 BrightPick auto picker robots. And these robots, they handle everything from replenishing inventory to robotically picking orders and getting them ready for dispatch. And that's how this facility, operated by leading sports nutrition retailer, The Feed, is able to work 24/7 and pick 50,000 items per day, all while just using a handful of actual people. That's right. This is the future of e-commerce fulfillment.
It's obviously scary for people who work in warehouses because it means their job is no longer going to be needed. Maybe they're one of the lucky few that are in the warehouse just to handle whatever it is, the operations that have to go on inside the warehouse, maybe cleaning the robots or fixing robots that might break down or what have you. But for the most part, human labor is not going to be needed in warehouses. It's good for the consumer. Why? Because it increases productivity. These machines are obviously going to be much less expensive than paying for employees, and they work 24/7. They don't need bathroom breaks. They don't have conflicts and arguments with coworkers. They don't hate their bosses. They might, but we don't know it yet. Once they become sentient, then we have a problem. But until then, they don't hate their bosses. So what does that mean? Theoretically, it means that the cost savings will be passed along to the consumers, but who knows? Maybe the big corporate titans will line their pockets more, or both, who knows? But the point is, technology is going to disrupt the warehouse industry, the trucking industry, and many other industries. As a matter of fact, according to an article by Forbes titled, "What Jobs Will AI Replace First?" These are the jobs or industries most likely be affected by AI first. Number one, you have data entry and administrative tasks. Two, you have customer service. Three, you have manufacturing and assembly line jobs. Four, you have retail checkouts, which you've already seen that. Half the time you can't even find anybody to help you scan your items. You scan them, and if you scan it wrong, you look it around and no one's there to help you. So we see that happening, or happened already. Basic analytical roles and entry-level graphic design. Since this video is about the striking of Amazon workers and baristas, let's look further into the manufacturing and assembly line jobs and see what the Forbes article has to say about that. It says, in the manufacturing sector, AI and robotics have become indispensable, particularly repetitive physical tasks. Robots equipped with AI can perform tasks such as assembling products, welding, and packaging with greater precision and efficiency than humans. Just like I mentioned about how these trucks that are autonomous are safer than human-driven trucks. These systems are especially beneficial in high-volume production settings where they can work tirelessly without breaks, reducing costs and increasing productivity. It says, as a result, many manufacturing and assembly line jobs are being replaced by automated systems. So this has been happening. It's just now with the increase or the advent or the popularity or whatever you want to call it with AI, it's just now ramping up to a higher degree. And technological advancement is not a linear line, it's exponential. So it's just gonna keep building on top of itself faster and faster and faster. Here are some of the careers that are least likely or the safest from being disrupted by AI according to the US Career Institute. So let's see, this is the top 65 safest from AI. Let's take a look at the top, let's say 5. So the top 5, you have nurse practitioners. Second, you have choreographers, makes sense. You have dancing robots that look a little stupid unless they're doing the robot, I guess. You have physician's assistants at 3. 4, you have mental health counselors. And at 5, you have nursing instructors and teachers in post-secondary. So as you can see, all this is pretty much in the healthcare sector, which makes sense because that's more of a human field. Obviously, you're gonna have robotics that aid doctors and nurses and physician's assistants and other medical professionals to do their jobs, say surgery, or maybe injecting medicine, or delivering medicine, or injecting medication. But it's unlikely that robots are going to take it over like they are likely to take over repetitive tasks like administrative tasks. Just for the fun of it, let's take a look at the next 5, because these are all in healthcare. I want to see if they're all, the next 5 are in healthcare. So this is the top 10. So you have coaches and scouts, interesting. You're not gonna have robots doing your scouting report. Athletic trainers, so another sports thing. Physical therapist, again, medical / quasi, you know, that can go both ways. Orthotist and prosthetist. I hope I said that correctly. And number 10, marriage and family therapist. And that makes sense as well. Again, in the healthcare realm, you're not gonna sit in front of a robot and tell them how you're feeling and have them help you work through your inter-family dynamics, or maybe you will, who knows? Maybe one day it'll be like Futurama. I really don't know, but that's probably way far in the future. So as you can see, a lot of the safest jobs from AI are in healthcare. And some of those were in, interesting enough, coaching and anything that deals with a lot of people to people type of involvement. That's not repetitive, takes a lot of the high degree of discretion and feel versus stacking boxes or picking items off of an assembly line. You know what I mean? Or just repetitive tasks. Or like we see with ChatGPT, even writing scripts or writing basic memos or what have you. So with that, guys, let me know, have you experienced any delays in receiving your packages from Amazon or picking up your morning coffee from Starbucks? Or have you largely not noticed it at all? Because for me personally, like I said before, I haven't. And it just goes to show how, I don't know, it's kind of a scary thing, but at the same time, it's exciting to see that. Imagine now, if we're not experiencing delays now, just only imagine when, and of course you live in a major city like Los Angeles or Portland, Oregon, New York, places like that, you're probably gonna notice an effect. But if you live outside of a major city, you're probably not. And in the very near future, like I mentioned before, it may not even matter because we're gonna have robots delivering everything to us. We're gonna have robots handing us our coffee in the morning. So this strike has brought up a larger conversation, for me at least, around technology and the future of artificial intelligence. With that being said, if you made it this far in the video, I really, really appreciate you for continuing to watch. And if you enjoyed the video at all, consider liking and subscribing because it does help with the YouTube algorithm. And until next time, make smart financial decisions.